Ladies and gentlemen, see, a lot of women out here are confused because men don't always say what they feel. A man will hide his emotions like his life depends on it. But his body will snitch on him every single time. When a man's body language leans toward you, he's already chosen you in ways he hasn't even admitted to himself yet, because a man's body responds to attraction long before his words ever do. A man can act cool. He can pretend he's not paying attention. He can tell you with his mouth that he's just being friendly, but his body will expose him every single time. When a man is drawn to a woman, he doesn't stand straight like he does with everybody else. He angles himself toward her. He shifts his weight in her direction, and he positions his shoulders so they face her, even when the rest of the room isn't getting that same alignment. When you're talking, notice how he leans in, not exaggeratingly, not dramatically, but with this natural pull, like his body wants to be closer to your voice, your energy, your presence. That lean is one of the strongest nonverbal signals of desire, because the human body doesn't move forward unless the heart and the mind feel safe, connected, and deeply interested. And if he leans in even when he doesn't need to, like when he can hear you perfectly well, or when you're already standing close, then that's not politeness, that's craving, that is instinct. That is the subconscious saying, I want more of her. You'll see it in how he closes the gap between you two, how he steps just a bit closer every time you speak, how he finds a reason to stand near you even when there's plenty of space elsewhere. You'll notice his torso pointing toward you even if his feet are angled another direction, because the torso faces what the heart wants. And when you're sitting, pay attention to how he leans across a table, how he bends slightly forward when you laugh, how he shifts his chair a little closer. Not enough to be obvious, but enough to feel like gravity is pulling him toward you. That's a man fighting with himself, trying to keep it cool while his body has already made the decision. Even in a group, watch how he subconsciously positions himself closer to you than to anyone else. He'll stand at an angle where he can see your face clearly. He'll lean forward when you speak, even if it's not directed at him, and he'll adjust his body so he's within your radius. That lean is not just physical, it's emotional. It's a man lowering his guard, opening his space, and inviting you in without ever saying it out loud. His body leans because his heart feels safe. It leans because his mind is curious. It leans because something in you pulls him. And the most telling part is that he doesn't do this with everyone. He only leans toward the woman who makes him feel something real, something magnetic, something he can't fully hide. That's the quiet truth his body tells before his mouth ever catches up. When a man mirrors your movements, he is subconsciously sensing with your energy, and this is one of the most powerful, least controlled signs that his body is craving you on a deep level. Mirroring is something the human mind does when it feels connection, admiration, or attraction so strong that the body starts copying without permission. A man who mirrors you is not doing it intentionally. He's not sitting there thinking, let me copy her so she feels close to me. No, this happens beneath thought, beneath logic, beneath the surface. It's instinct. It's emotional chemistry turning physical. When you cross your legs and a few seconds later, he adjusts himself in the same direction, he's aligning with you. When you lift your hand to play with your hair and he touches his face or fixes his shirt, his body is responding to your movement like a reflection. Even small gestures like leaning back, tilting your head, folding your arms, or lowering your voice will show up in his movements without him realizing it, because the body mirrors what it respects and desires. This is why mirroring rarely happens with someone we're not interested in. You don't copy strangers. You don't copy people you don't care about. And you definitely don't copy someone who doesn't make you feel something. But when a man is drawn to a woman, his body wants to stay in rhythm with her. It's like your energies fall into the same pattern, the same flow. You'll see it when you're walking side by side and he naturally matches your pace. Even if he usually walks fast, he slows down to your speed without thinking. If you speak softly, he softens his tone. If you get excited, his voice gets a little louder, a little brighter, because he's matching not just your posture, but your emotional frequency. Mirroring is connection made visible. It shows he's paying attention to every little thing you do, even the things you don't realize he's noticing. It's his body's way of saying, I'm with you, long before his mouth ever says it. In conversation, you'll feel him reflect your expressions. You smile, he smiles sometimes even first. You lean in, he leans in. You sit back, he relaxes back. His body is communicating. Why are in sync? Because attraction pushes people toward alignment. And the most beautiful part is that mirroring makes both people feel comfortable, even if they don't notice why. It creates familiarity. It creates harmony. It creates that feeling like you've known someone longer than you actually have. So when a man mirrors you, he's not just attracted, he's present, fully. His attention is locked on you, his instincts are tuned to you, and his movements follow yours like a dance his body already knows. This is craving made subtle, craving made soft, craving made undeniable, because no matter how hard a man tries to hide his feelings, his body will always reveal where his heart leans. When a man can't keep his eyes off you, it's not just attraction, it's admiration wrapped in desire, and his eyes are telling a story his lips are too scared to speak. Eyes reveal what the heart tries to hide because they move toward what the soul wants. A man may try to act calm. He may pretend to be focused on something else. He may even try to show you he's not pressed. But the moment you're not watching, his eyes drift right back to you like they've got their own heartbeat. He'll look at your face, then your smile, then your hands, and then he'll look away quickly like he wasn't caught in the act, but he knows deep down he can't help himself. This isn't the casual glance people give to strangers. This is the kind of look that lingers, that travels, that softens. When he looks at you with that gentle admiration, trying to memorize your expression, He's not looking at you. He's studying you. He's absorbing you. He's feeling something he doesn't fully understand yet. You'll notice how his eyes brighten when you walk into the room, how they widen slightly when you speak, how they follow your movement, even when he tries to pretend he's paying attention to something else. And the way he looks at you when you're not speaking, when you're focused on something else, when you're laughing with someone else, when you're lost in your thoughts. Those are the moments that reveal everything, because that's when he forgets to hide. A man in admiration looks with softness, like he's moved by your presence, like something about you pulls him in without effort. He'll glance at your lips when you talk, not because he's trying to be inappropriate, but because he's imagining what it feels like to be close to you, to understand you, to touch the parts of your life you don't show the world. And when you look back at him and he quickly looks away, that's not shyness, it's exposure. He didn't mean to let his feelings slip through his eyes, but you caught them, and that moment of being seen makes him retreat for a second. But he won't stay away long. His eyes will come back to you again and again, because craving doesn't take breaks. Even in a room full of people, his attention finds you like you're the center of gravity. You'll catch him watching you laugh, watching you think, watching you exist. And sometimes he'll look at you like he's trying to figure out why you affect him the way you do. That's the gaze of a man whose heart is waking up. The eyes are honest because they respond before the brain can filter anything. They reveal desire, fascination, and tenderness. And when a man's eyes stay on you more than anywhere else, he's telling you without words that you're the place where his attention rests, where his admiration grows, and where his craving begins. When a man starts displaying those small, nervous gestures, fixing his collar, touching his face, adjusting his sleeves, running his hand through his hair, he's not just being fidgety, he's trying to manage the pressure he feels inside, because your presence is affecting him more than he expected. A man who is completely neutral around someone stays relaxed, effortless, almost too casual. But a man who wants to impress you suddenly becomes aware of every inch of himself. It's like his body goes into a quiet, alert mode where he wants to look his best without making it obvious. He'll straighten his shirt as if it magically got wrinkled the moment he saw you. He'll check his watch, not because he cares about the time, but because his hands need something to do. He might rub the back of his neck or adjust his posture because his mind is racing while trying to remain calm. These are not signs of discomfort with you. They're signs of excitement mixed with vulnerability. He's preparing himself, positioning himself, trying to be the version of himself he hopes you'll notice. You'll see him sitting up straight when you walk by, puffing his chest a little without meaning to, fixing his hair as if it were suddenly out of place. These gestures reveal that he's thinking, what does she see when she looks at me? But he doesn't want you to hear that question out loud. His body says it anyway. and watch how his nervousness appears only around you, not around others. He may be confident, loud, playful with everyone else, but the moment you step near him, his behavior shifts, his hands become busier, his voice softens or deepens, his posture straightens, and he becomes more aware of his appearance. You might see him licking his lips slightly before talking to you, clearing his throat, or even glancing down quickly to check how he looks. A man doesn't do that for someone he doesn't care about. He does it when he feels something strong and doesn't want to mess it up. Even the smallest grooming behaviors reveal attraction because they are instinctive, unconscious, and honest. His body is telling him to present himself as worthy in your eyes. It's the biological version of wanting to shine. When he's standing, he might keep shifting his weight or adjusting his belt or jacket because he's nervous in the best way. Your presence makes him want to look composed, but his excitement makes that difficult. When he's sitting, he'll suddenly become aware of his posture, how he's positioned, and whether he appears confident or attractive. He might even fidget with objects near him, a pen, a cup, his phone, because he needs to release some of that tension building inside. This nervousness isn't a weakness. It's a sign of investment. It means he cares how he appears to you. It means he sees you as someone important. It means his body is reacting to the chemistry he feels. And no matter how calm he tries to be, these subtle gestures reveal that deep inside, he is craving your attention, your approval, and your presence more than he ever planned to show. When a man positions himself protectively around you, it's one of the most powerful signs that his instincts are activated, and instincts don't lie because they come from a place deeper than conscious thought. A man can pretend he's not interested. He can act cool. He can hide his emotions with jokes or silence. But when his protective nature shows up, that's his body revealing exactly how he feels. Protection is not something a man gives to every woman. He reserves it for the one who touches something soft inside him, the one who matters more than he wants to admit. You'll notice this protective instinct long before he ever confesses attraction. It shows in how he stands between you and a crowded space, how he subtly positions himself on the side of traffic when you're walking, how he slows his pace to match yours so you don't feel rushed or left behind. Even if he's talking to someone else, his awareness stays on you, tracking your comfort, your safety, your presence. This kind of instinctive behavior is not dramatic or exaggerated. It's natural, automatic, and often so quiet that he doesn't even notice he's doing it. When you enter a room together, he might scan the environment first out of habit, his eyes checking what's around you before he even realizes he's doing it. When you're walking outdoors, he'll place himself on the side closer to the road without saying a word. When you're in a crowd, he'll step slightly behind you or slightly in front of you, adjusting his position to create a small shield. These movements are subtle, but they are meaningful. They show he wants you to feel safe near him. That desire, that need to protect, comes from deep attraction, deep respect, and deep emotional craving. You'll also notice how he becomes more attentive in situations where you might feel uncomfortable or uncertain. If someone talks to you in a way he doesn't like, he'll subtly shift his posture. His tone becomes firmer and his energy becomes more alert. He won't always say something, but his body language changes instantly. That's a man who sees you as someone worth safeguarding. Even when you're laughing or enjoying yourself, his eyes will glance at you regularly like he's keeping track of how you're doing. Not because he doubts you, but because he feels responsible for you in some unspoken way, and responsibility coming from a man who has no obligation to you is a sign of emotional attachment he's not expressing with words. He might offer his hand when walking down steps, guide you with a touch on your back, or place something between you and inconvenience without thinking. These are not rehearsed gestures. They are driven by instinct, desire, and the natural urge to show care. A man only protects what he values. He only guards what he fears losing. When he steps closer during loud noises, when he notices temperature changes and offers his jacket, when he stands just a little taller when someone else looks at you, those are the moments where his craving becomes visible. His protection is his confession, silent but sincere, revealing that you are someone who touches the deepest part of him, the part that wants to keep you safe even before he fully understands why. When a man listens with his whole body, not just his ears, it's one of the clearest signs that he is not only attracted to you, but is craving a deeper connection, because true attention requires presence, and presence is not accidental. A man who is indifferent or distracted can hear words without absorbing them, but a man who is drawn to you becomes fully engaged. His eyes lock on yours, his body leans in slightly, and his movements match the rhythm of your voice. You'll notice how he tilts his head, how his eyebrows move in response to your expressions, how he nods at the right moments, not mechanically, but as if he is feeling every word you say. His hands might rest gently on his lap or on the table, open and relaxed, signaling receptivity. Even the way he shifts his weight subtly toward you shows his subconscious desire to be closer, to be attuned, to exist in the same energy space as you. This is not something a man does casually. It requires effort from the mind and instinct from the heart. It's a combination of fascination and intent, of wanting to understand you and wanting to be understood in return. A man who listens with his whole body often mirrors your emotional state as well. When you speak excitedly, he becomes animated. When you lower your voice, he quiets his presence too. When you laugh, he smiles genuinely, as if he's sharing the moment with you in its entirety, not just hearing it as background noise. His reactions are automatic, sincere, and revealing, because a man cannot fake this level of engagement for long. It comes from a genuine craving to connect. You will also notice how he remembers the small details you mention in passing. A story about your day, a memory from your past, or even something you casually complain about will reappear in later conversations.